Okay, who can recap us?
I can give us a recap.
Good.
We uh we were in the ice caves, um, going to do some scouting reconnaissance on our target location. We made our way to the end of the caves without too much, or to the end of where the caves met the facility without too much incident. Um, but we had to cross a significant gap to get down to the facility. And our solution to this was to basically break off a big thing of ice with some either explosive charges, as a combination of, I think it's some explosion or chipping away at things. Or no, we used the torches, I think, to strategically melt the ice at certain places and weaken it. And when it did fall, it worked. It totally worked. Christan didn't really get out of the way very well, and took quite a substantial hit. But we got down there. We crawled around the outside of the facility for a bit before Christan got us into a maintenance hatch where he very skillfully disabled any alarms that would have triggered saying it had been opened. We went in, we were doing some exploring, trying to find a terminal we could hook Christan up to, and we encountered a little droid, which we promptly lobotomized and took for ourselves. um, and Christan did get himself into a terminal eventually, and also reprogrammed our little droid friend to be our droid friend. And we put ourselves on the calendar for a audit visit, like an audit follow-up, essentially. Christan added us to their calendar, and also programmed that little droid to come greet us there at the time of our audit. We got everything squared away with that, made our trek back. We also patched up the droid where we had blasted a hole in its center, so it doesn't look like it's, totally mangled. It just looks like a bad repair job. But we got out, we undid whatever Christan did to the door hatch, and we made our way back up. And miraculously, on on our way back out, we had the tremendous good fortune of having some ice collapsed right at that point that we had jumped across, so that we could just walk right back up. It was beautiful. We couldn't have asked for better luck. I think we rolled like a crit success on our luck check there. It was nuts. But yeah, we were back at the ship. We were giving it a couple of days to rest and for Christan to recover from the ice shrapnel. um, and then we were going to head out. We also were like heading out away from the planet and then coming back in, so that when we did arrive on audit day, we weren't like coming from around the corner. We were coming from space. And I think that was where we left off, was us in space getting ready for audit day.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. Good summary. Thank you. Um, yeah, so you guys kind of departed the class day system so that you could be seen kind of coming on approach, coming back to Clusternay. So you're just kind of hanging out along a hyperspace corridor at one of the bounce points, and resting, recuperating, kind of checking your notes, etc. You've got, plenty of time until you're expected on Clestine. You've got, pretty good cover story put in place. I don't think that you have any uniforms or any kind of official looking gear like that, so I'm not sure what your guys' plan was uh there, and if you were going to have any cover names or whatnot. I think probably Christan didn't put that level of detail in the audit appointment, so you guys can be a little bit flexible there.
I do recall the one thing that he did specify in the audit was that we were coming in on a non-imperial ship,
Yes.
which is good because that's hard for us to not do.
Yeah,
Uniforms possible, ship
right.
harder.
Not really,
Um,
yeah.
in the time that we've got with these couple of days, would it be feasible for us to go either procure some like old Imperial uniforms or something resembling Imperial that would pass for an Imperial uniform? Or would that be controlled?
Um,
Or at
no,
least business attire.
you could
Or
you
would
could
it,
definitely
or
have
would we
like
do?
business attire if you're interested in having something that looks like an Imperial uniform enough that people won't look at it too closely. That is something you can do. You'll probably have to go back to either Coruscant or where you were meeting with Ani to get some contacts because you just don't have those contacts out
Yeah.
here in space. But you did meet some people, on Coruscant that might be able to help you, although they were all kind of high level types, not necessarily black market folks.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're at usually at hyperspace intersection points, there is like, a little station where ships can dock, and there's bars and lodging and shops and that kind of thing. So you're near one of those if you wanted to try to dock and make some contacts with folks that could get you that kind of attire. That might be another play for you.
Would would general like professional business attire be sufficient, or would they be expecting? Do we know if they would be expecting us to come in Imperial uniforms?
I think that the way that you guys, rigged up the appointment, that it's not going to be an Imperial ship,
Hmm.
certainly opens the door for you to be kind of general business attire sorts of things. It really depends on the what the purpose of your getting into that facility is, basically. Like the more official you look, especially coming from the military, the more likely they are to be like, oh yeah, like look at whatever. If you come in looking like, just business people, they're just going to be like, here are the records that you need for the audit.
Got it. Is
Which
it
doesn't mean
plausible
that
that
you
we have?
can't. I mean, they might say like, here are the records that you need for the audit, and then Chris Sand is like, oh yes, thank you, Zoop. Like that is not a
Sure.
major barrier for your guys' particular skill set.
That's
So it
also
just
true.
depends
That's
on,
also true.
where you want to handle the problem.
Well, and if I remember correctly, what I had talked about while I was going through and doing those computer checks was that the audit would be performed by like an NGO, like a third party, a non-government organization,
Yep.
and so um, they probably are not. Any of those will likely look very different one from the other.
In
And
that
so,
respect, I think is it plausible that we get some military looking uniform, not imperial, but like generic officery looking things rather than just like business person? Like we're clearly affiliated with some kind of military contracting organization, though not directly imperial.
like a
That
generic
might
trade
be,
federation.
yeah, something like that. Like
Ha.
that might be easier to procure than specifically imperial. If that, I don't know if that would be easier or not, but just a thought. Do we have
Yeah,
time to run back to Coruscant in the couple of days that we've given ourselves
you
if we
do.
wanted to go?
If you wanted
Okay.
to, yeah.
And
You do.
so do I have any way of like disguising or forging some identification for the three of us, given the computer skills, and just say print out some cards or something in Coruscant?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still stuck on Barlow's question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so do you have any history skill or anything related to Imperial protocol, that kind of thing?
I've got law.
How about Varlo?
I mean, technically, I have law. It's an 11, but I have law. Um, I don't see any kind of history type thing, so that's
Yeah, neither do I.
Okay, no other
See,
kind of knowledge, intelligence kind of thing.
let me
Um,
I
look at other intelligence related kind of um yeah, insight, investigation, perception. Yeah, those are all the intelligence.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
why don't you roll your law, and then Chris stand. I guess this is accounting related, so why don't you roll accounting?
now, is it Varlo or Troy that's rolling law?
Varlo.
Okay, you said you have an 11.
Yes.
I've got a 14 law. If you'd like me to give that one a try, I know we're
Gonna say
taking a big chance, but it's almost a third more.
Troy has a 16 law, you know.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay.
Is
Well,
it
then I'll
I'll go ahead
roll
and roll and we'll
accounting.
see if it's anywhere close to any of those numbers because they're all really low.
Okay, so accounting. Ooh, okay, that's a 15, and so I'm going to use 1 point of luck to make it a critical success
Okay,
or
cool.
I don't have
Varlo,
enough luck to make
extreme
this.
success. I think
extreme.
the name.
Yep.
Yep.
Varlo law.
36. So
Okay,
no,
cool.
I'm
Okay,
not going to spend
so
that much luck.
yeah, I think Varlo, you haven't been in, this kind of circumstance enough to know how like the imperial systems work with regards to NGOs and whatnot. Chris Stand, from an accounting perspective on an extreme success, uh, you know that there are so many layers to the imperial economic system. So there is obviously the military. There are private contractors. There are political agencies, bureaucratic agencies that all might be kind of working amongst each other. I think that you realize, given the sensitive nature of what you're wanting to get, which specifically is this is a construction company. So I think that what you guys are wanting to get is either some information about like specific build plans or information about where those build plans would be found. Um, so from an accounting perspective, if you come in kind of as you are, um, in a kind of generic ship, you could probably forge some credentials relatively easily. They're expecting a certain type of person, um, that they're not going to give you the access that they would, like I already said, as if you were military. And having military uniforms that are out of sync with being accountants might raise more questions than it solves. So since you've already put the idea in their head that this is a non-military inspection, probably going with that would be more consistent. Um,
Would political or economical be more useful to us? Because political, to me, it seems like the goals of a political NGO might be more diffuse
yep.
and might give me access to more stuff. And
Yeah.
so if I can just sort of have
Yeah,
us loosely
absolutely. So
affiliated.
yes. If you were like, oh, we're the personal accounting team of such and such senator, that would definitely give you different access. The question is if you can get a cover story that is plausible to them, like if it's a senator that they know should be getting involved in this or not.
Committees. I can hack like because that would be at least in because I know with the Empire, the Senate side of it is more of a figurehead kind of thing than anything. It's all for show, unlike in the Republic where they actually did stuff. But if it's anything like bureaucracies now, we can find out what senators on what committee, and so if I could find some like medium level backbencher guy who's on like a security committee for that would deal with projects and stuff like that, who would probably ostensibly be briefed on stuff like this and would know that it's happening, then or it could be just sort of auditing the like in military contracts where like the kind of reports where people see like screwdrivers that cost $400 and stuff like
Right.
that. And so
if you want to try one other different angle, what about something in the lines of like a technical audit of like, since this is a construction company, coming in as more like people who have reason to see actual plans and be like, basically like, is what you're saying you're using these materials for worth the money that we're being charged for, that you're booking for it? Like, why do you need X amount of this material? Are you wasting our material? What kind of plans are you running here? Like
a science committee or like a STEM
like
committee?
Some kind of scientific, like I'm just thinking like people who approve and verify building schematics. Like this could be like an auditing, like we think your usage of this expensive material is out of line with the plans you're doing. Show me the plans and explain why you need this much of it. Something along those lines might be a reason to be able to need to see some plans.
So like the analog to our government's science and technology committee.
Sure, yeah, something in that line.
And that's also
still an accounting related. Yeah. Like we're still doing it on an accounting level of like, why are you spending this money? But also like justify yourself by showing us why you need it, aka show us the plan.
And it's low level and obscure enough not to like show up in the news or something. It's like,
right, yeah, because it's not like a public concern. It's a monetary concern of like you're wasting the money we've allocated.
That sounds cool to me.
Now we just got to figure out who would plausibly, instruct such an inspection. Or what would this be the kind of people who come in with like suit and tie and a hard hat, like the like ceremonial hard hat people?
That could be really good because you wear a hard hat in a place where you don't need a hard hat, you look ridiculous, and people are just going to let you do your thing so you can GTFO. And so, we need access to this server in a half an hour for our IT guy to audit the databases, run a few code streams to make sure everything's on the up and up.
That seems reasonable to me. I don't know. We just need to find. I guess we can make a run back to Coruscant and get the requisite attire to represent ourselves as such a endeavor.
Yeah, that's no problem. You guys can head back to Coruscant, pick that up, and no worries. Be on your way.
Cool. Beautiful.
Cool. Okay, great. So yeah, you guys head back to Clestone. You come in on approach from Coruscant, which you were doing anyways. Um, make contact with the facility. Um, Obviously, they're flying under the radar, so just flying around, they wouldn't hail you. But Christand, you figured out what their hailing frequency is when you were in there, knowing that you would need to get in touch with them. They approve you for approach and landing for your scheduled inspection. So as you guys fly the Tranquility in, uh, you saw this both from the top of the ice layer and below it, but above the ice layer, it's basically like a little mountain peak. And you saw, this huge bulk of this mountain below the top level of the glaciers. So it's this mountain peak, covered in snow, blowing wind, sending gusts of flurries of snow all over, kind of obscuring the terrain. And as you're coming in, they give you coordinates to bring it in. Troy and Bartleby are kind of navigating, and you see that there are these two massive panels that open up on the side of the mountaintop, displacing these tons of snow, like start these avalanches that crash down onto the ice surrounding. But it's a pretty big opening. It's obviously designed for a ship much bigger than yours.
Uh,
So you guys come in on approach. After you pass through the barrier, you see the doors slowly, ponderously start to close, shutting out the sun and locking you in this massive docking chamber. Again, obviously designed for a much larger ship. Just the scale of the construction within the mountain here is beyond anything that I think that any of you have seen. Like, you've never been in any shipyards for, like a Star Destroyer or anything like that. But that's kind of what comes to mind for you, like looking at this massive space, like thinking like, what the hell are they, shipping out here?
do they have to bring like an extension to the stairs because they're normally used to people exiting way higher up, and so they've got to bring like the little kiddie booster seat version of the stairs to get us up there.
It looks like there are multiple like gangplanks from they come in from the side for multiple levels.
Yeah, there are gangplanks that are higher than the level of our ship.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like hundreds of feet higher too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you do, kind of flying in here thinking like, man, I had some idea that what they're doing is large scale, but seeing it in person like this, yeah, it's a whole nother level. But they guide you in some blinking lights to land. They say welcome, and you see that a gangplank extends. You guys exit the Tranquility, and you see that there's a small welcoming committee of 3 people, 2 men and a woman. They're not dressed in Imperial uniforms. They do have a uniform, though, of gray pants and sort of a white-red striped top. And you see that there's a badge that says Sinillo on the left shoulder. They approach you and nod. I can't remember if you guys had planned on giving a cover names or using your real names.
Oh, 100% we're giving names. Other people. We're not giving our own names for sure. Not a chance.
Cool. What cover names are you using here? Cool. The fellow at the head of this trio of Sinillo employees looks at the 3 of you, looks at your ship, says, welcome, Gilrish Fenor Kelnair. I'm Jor Purlum. I'm the head engineer. I would like to show you around. Come this way, please. He turns and heads on out. Yeah,
is
you guys
our
gonna
robot buddy anywhere in the vicinity?
So as you guys, you're on these kind of catwalk, metal grate sort of things that are designed to connect to the ship. So as you get off the catwalk onto like solid ground, as it were, you see that the robot's there. Your little droid zips alongside you. They are Jur is gonna, kind of chit chat, says, this we hadn't been fully ready for this inspection. It's a little bit ahead of schedule. Hope you understand that we've been working hard, but there have been some unexpected delays. We had a Wampa attack relatively recently that set us back a bit. The Vyasan snakes tend to infiltrate all kinds of things. We had there was something weird with a maintenance tunnel recently. There's been, they're we're doing our best, but it's a hostile environment. What kind of tact are you guys taking, chit-chatting with Jur as you're kind of walking through the facility?
Say,
I think Chris Stand is going to be chattering directly to the droid, and so like when people start verbalizing these concerns, he'll say to the droid, "Hey, tell him it's completely okay. This is totally low impact routine stuff. This isn't even the big inspection. We're just checking some things out. Chill him
I
out.
think
Let him
Troy
know
is
it's
probably
okay."
going to do this. Troy is probably
Cool.
going to do most of the speaking for us, considering he is by far the smoothest talker amongst the bunch.
Yes.
So I think I don't want to portray any sense of like pressure or concern. We're just here on official business. It is what it is. We're not like, oh, you're in trouble, you messed up. But like, we just need to see, like, we're just here to do our job. We need to see what we need to see, but like, we're not trying to, pressure anybody about it. I mean, I would say, especially with like with their concerns about the delays or any of that, like, we kind of don't really care about their time schedules, like their time schedules and their timetables and stuff. We don't super care about that because that's not what we're here to audit. Like, if they're running behind schedule, that's not my problem. Like, we don't really have any concerns over it. We're more worried about their materials usage.
Got it. Cool.
So,
Yeah, go ahead and roll persuasion for Troy and give me that with advantage with Chris Stand helping
Just
out.
chattering.
Yeah.
good. I like advantage. I like advantage. Advantage is great. Advantage makes that a 49 instead of a 99.
Oh, damn.
So yes, that's a success.
Cool. Good call, Chris
Yes,
Stand.
he has a 70 persuasion.
Cool. Great. You kind of put Jur and his team a little bit at ease with that. They give you a little bit of a tour of the facility. So Crestonay, you guys had already discerned, is kind of a mining planet for this crystal that just grows in these super cold conditions. So you see that they're mining that for basically rare earth elements that they're using in a variety of applications. And you also see that that part of that is that they're manufacturing these massive panels that have some of these rare earth elements kind of strewn throughout them. These massive panels that are ever so slightly like on the scale of hundreds and hundreds of meters, have this slight curve to them. You see one of these panels being fitted with the rare earth elements, and it kind of makes sense. Like one of these panels would basically fit in the docking bay that you guys flew in on. So presumably they load up some kind of cargo ship with one of these things, and then fly them out. Jur assures you that they're on the 10th panel out of the 12 that the company was hired to supply. So they're a little bit behind schedule, but they are working diligently on that. And ultimately, they get you to an office, sit down and kind of present you with the information. Um, so you guys are looking through this. Let's see. All of you go ahead and give me a deception. Deception? We don't have deception. I guess either stealth or persuasion checks.
Cool, cool. I will roll for Troy first, or Gilrish first.
And we're all rolling these.
Yes.
Okay.
Whoa. Okay. All right. That was a 3 on persuasion. Another extreme success.
Jesus.
I will happily go with that. Oh, that. Oh, I did. Yes. Troy and I both just barely hit our hard success
Wow.
targets. Troy on persuasion and Varlo on stealth.
Cool. And Christand, was that stealth or
Extreme
persuasion?
success for persuasion.
Persuasion. Okay, cool. Okay, that's great. You guys didn't need, that many successes, but
We'll take them. We'll take them.
yeah, so you're chit-chatting with Jur, going over the files, all of you just totally selling it. Whatever you ask a question that obviously implies that you should know something and that you're like, this is not walk around knowledge for you. You're able to like navigate around it and like mental judo it and whatnot. Yeah, so you guys tell me how you're going to go about getting information, what information you want to get, chit chat with each other. I need a little break.
Sure. All right. Good success there. Good rolls. Good rolls.
Yep.
It helped that I was rolling on 2 skills in the 70s.
Yeah, my
right, so
persuasion was not good, and so
you needed that.
The threshold for the extreme success was a 4, and I just happened to roll a 3, and so I'm like, hey, I'll take it.
So I assume that if we are shown any plans or schematics, and probably already at this point, Christand has already done this, but Christand doing some little snappies. Presumably when we were shown the panel, like you probably took pictures of said panel, I assume.
Yeah.
Considering that's very important information. But yeah, if we're shown if we can have them bring out some of the plans, like, again, I think the approach was to like justify some of the materials expenses. And so we're looking to validate the plans for them to explain why they need it, and perhaps even have them bring in, like, this guy is like kind of our liaison, but maybe we get him to bring in one of their engineers who can sort of or analysts who can explain why it is that they need the material, like to sort of justify to us why it is that they need the level of materials that they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if we can get them, and he can like walk us through the plans and show us like, where are you using this? Why do like, and as he's showing us plans, Christand can be like snapping some visual pictures with his eyes of some schematics. But I think
Cool.
that would be the general approach. And again, we're not trying to be mean about it. We're just like, it's just a kind of
you got to do your job. They're doing their job. Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to build rapport.
So you guys see the schematic for these reflector pieces that they're building. It doesn't mean very much to you, but it seems like something that would be valuable, certainly to pass on to Ani. In chit-chatting with Jur and talking about, we just need to know what the auditing is like and yada yada. You are able to discern that they are working on a very specific segmented piece of the puzzle. But you do learn that Ashiv Elos is the executive VP for special projects, that he is the one that gives out the assignments to the different divisions in the company. And you surmise that he would probably have more complete knowledge of what the rest of this looks like. He is currently in the Blitz system, on Blitz Primary, which is primarily a banking, human resources kind of world. Typical, Earth type planet. So yeah, so that's what you guys get from that. You get a name, where he's working on Blitz Primary, that he is the one that assigns out the segments to those in the company. And I think, Christand, as you're kind of looking through all of this, probably just automatically running your accounting numbers on it,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing again the scale of this, the billions and billions and billions of credits that must be going through this operation. And you also see no role required, Christan. Like the Sonilla Corporation is totally skimming another 1 or 2%, above and beyond what they were contracted to do. And this is part of the problem. Like this is how Christan, kind of like got self-radicalized. Like, God damn it! Like everyone's corrupt at all levels. Even when they're trying to work on the same team.
And so, with the little cyber eye snapping that that I can do I have enough information to like send that evidence to like the military police, and like if it gets to the point where we just need to throw a gigantic wrench in the operation, that I could get Sinilo just completely taken off the project, and maybe have stormtroopers rolling in and like executing their executives.
Cool. So you don't get any hard evidence except for like the information that's contained there. So there's nothing like there's nothing recorded, unless you want to try to like sleight of hand a data stick or something to grab some of that information. But it's definitely enough that if you gave an anonymous like message to the Imperial police about this and this, that it might generate an inquiry. But yeah, if you wanted to like sleight of hand and like just quickly data jack in.
Not not so much. I was just looking for if given what we are already doing, that that was enough to put in somebody to just muddy the waters a bit, if that needed doing down the road. Because I figure with my sleight of hand, my chances are pretty good to get us all killed. And so,
Yeah, for sure.
instead of that, as an alternative to getting us all killed, I just wanted to see if I had enough information to like put in, because I'm sure the Empire has a state run news and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
So this is actually honestly part of the reason why you joined up with this group,
mhm.
and Ani specifically, is that even from the position that you were in accounting, you weren't really able to affect any change because no one believed it, right? Like you would send in these like anonymous, like, hey, there's an irregularity here, and it would get to the next level and it would just die. So I think that's basically why Kristan is like, all right, I gotta take a more direct effort into this stuff. So I think that you're familiar enough with your experience there that sending that information,
it's not worth it.
I mean, it's not worth it, but it's not gonna trigger a
Yeah.
full scale, shutdown of the system or anything. Probably the person that you tip off is just going to be like, contact Sanillo and say, hey, I got this dirt on you. Send me some credits and I won't reveal it,
Ooh.
It just hits the next layer of corruption.
Yes, exactly.
we could get a little extra money and be that guy.
So,
No,
can I get a?
I'm sure
can I
I'm
get a
sure that
read?
thought goes through Troy's head for sure. I don't think
Oh,
think
yeah.
it goes through either of
not
yours.
not Kristan. Kristan is a little too.
Yep.
But I guess Troy hasn't noticed all the irregularity. You're the one that's noticed the dirt that would get that. So yeah, the wires have not connected yet. But could I get like a read on this guy on Jor? Jor?
Sure.
Jor. Could I get a read on Jor of like how he's taking our interactions?
Yeah.
Is he worried
definitely.
about this inspection?
Yeah, definitely do an insight.
Ew. Nope. No, it's good insight, not a good roll. That was a 74 on a 54.
Yeah, I mean, he just, seems to be vibing. Like, he's not obviously nervous or anything like that. He's giving you guys what you interpret to be as the access that you need to accomplish your task without giving you just like, oh yeah, have at it and walk out of the room. Like, he's sitting there with you going over things.
Right. Yeah, he's going over the documents with us and everything.
Right. Exactly.
Does the level of given my lack of technical understanding of these documents, does my layperson's inspection of these, given that I'm a reasonably smart person, but not lacking the scientific basis here, do I think this is enough to successfully, like, will this suffice for what Ani is wanting from this corporation?
Cool. Do an investigation check.
Sure. Nope.
Cool.
And my investigation is not great here.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, it seems like it's useful information for sure.
Do I just based on what I know of the of this segment of the mission, would I know enough to be on the lookout for that kind of stuff myself?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you guys we're all there, so yeah, you roll investigation.
Okay. All right, that is a hard success on 37.
Jesus.
Nice. That would have still failed mine.
That's the worst roll I've had all day.
Yeah.
I'm due for a critical fail at a really bad time. So let's just keep an eye out for that.
Okay. So looking through all this information, I think with Kristan's particular slant on things as well, there's nothing that is like a smoking gun here. There's nothing where you're like, oh, this information is clearly like gonna blow up the situation. You don't know what purpose this thing that they're building is. It's obviously part of some mega structure, which is helpful because that kind of corroborates what you found on Narkina 5, that was like a network that was designed for some mega structure. But now it looks like this is you kind of think like what you guys found on Narkina 5 was like the internal structure of the thing. This looks like some kind of external skeleton, external flesh on the skeleton. So from that, it seems like they're getting close. And like he said, he's got 10 out of 12 panels done. They're getting pretty close to having this finished. So that is useful information for Ani to have. You don't get the design plans for what they're building here. And even if you did, this seems like such a small piece that it wouldn't exactly be what they need. Like you think that you're going to need the full Monty, and I think further on that investigation on the hard success, you know that while Ashiv Elos will be a useful step, the only way you're getting this is in an Imperial facility. Like you're only going to get this information from breaking into an Imperial naval base.
Interesting.
Okay. In for a
So,
penny, in for a pound.
hey Ken,
Hey, sorry guys.
Welcome.
No worries.
glad you're here. You guys are
No, I
talking
need to step away for
to.
one moment. Sorry.
I have one more attempt at trying to discern information here.
Cool.
Is there anyone around that's like at the doors besides? Is it just us and Juror, or is there anyone else?
His two minions are also in here. It seems like they have specialized knowledge because they'll like chime in every now and then when Chris stands like, these numbers don't quite add up. One of them will be like, oh, well, that's for this and this reason.
Gotcha. I'm gonna say if there's any point in time where they're like chatting amongst themselves, I would like to like off in the back. I would like to try to read their lips to see if I can gather any information from them.
Cool. Yeah. There are definitely times when they kind of like, are having conference and just like chatting with each other. It doesn't seem like it's nefarious, but you can certainly try to see what they're saying.
Now, as I'm doing this, can I make the computing I'm doing look way more complicated and like wall of texty than it necessarily needs to be? like in movies where it's just numbers and characters everywhere and it's not part of a like clean normal graphical user interface, so that that they're probably used to clicking and doing normal things, and this is just keyboard flying data everywhere.
You're deliberately using things on the command line that you totally could do through the user interface.
Yeah.
Just to make it more complicated
looking. So that that we are somewhat masking what it is we're actually looking at.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's part of your persuasion check that you already got a hard success on.
Okay, nice.
Also, I will spend like 3 points of luck and make that a success on my read lips, just for the sake of it.
Cool. Yeah. So, you guys got some amazing successes to be here. So, Varlo, you see them, and it looks like they're only talking about like the technical information that they need. Like they're like, Christan gave them some obscure, just tossed out like, oh, do you have the, vector stats on such and such? And 3 of them like are getting their heads together and be like, okay, like,
they're
have that. Where is it? Do
Do
you remember the system? Yada, yada. They're, while they're talking amongst each other, they're not completely ignoring you though.
Sure.
Even though you failed your insight check before, and you guys have had some amazing successes, they're not. This is sensitive shit, and if this gets
we're outsiders.
Exactly. So they're keeping a wary eye on you continuously. But it seems like what they're talking about is all like the technical stuff that you've asked about.
Cool.
Yep.
But I mean, that stuff is really useful to us, given what you were describing earlier. Like we've got all kinds of good stuff to bring back to Ani.
Exactly. Yes.
For people who are more scientifically minded than we are to interpret.
Yes, exactly.
So, Ken, we are currently sitting down we're in the middle of the audit with our liaison person. We decided to come in with the cover, like the specific audit cover of, this is basically like a scientific kind of audit in the sense of like, justify to us why you're using the amount of materials that you're using. Like, let us see some plans and some justification for your materials expenses.
It's like staff for some blowhard backbencher senator.
Yeah, so that we could see
being a pain in the ass about expenditures and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, the idea being that we could maybe see some some plans and schematics of something, and what we did see were these giant panels, like some kind of exterior panels, and they've made 10 out of 12 that they were hired to make.
Do we have any idea what these are for?
It looks, I mean, we know it's the exterior of some giant superstructure, but that's about all. Like we saw the internal skeleton of it at Narkina 5, and this is clearly some part of the outer shell. And the fact that they're on 10 out of 12 is like, okay, this is towards the end of this project here.
Any chance that science, interdimensional physics would be relevant to whatever they're building?
Why don't you do investigation first?
Sure.
Also, we very much smooth talked our way in here. We did, I think, hard success, extreme success on our rolls to like smooth over any kind of questions.
No luck on the investigation.
Cool. Yeah, it is definitely unclear to you what they're building here, Troy, especially because Troy, I don't consider Troy to be a particularly mechanical technical guy.
No, but he's seen some weird ass stuff.
Fair. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean you guys have a lead for the next level up, which is Ashiv. You know where he's at. You know that he'll have some information, but you know that at the end of the day, you're going to need to break into a military complex to get the actual full details.
Yeah, we can discuss once we're no longer with other company, whether we want, like, how we want to approach that, or whether we just try and jump to a Imperial facility.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, if there's any other information you guys want here, like I said, you've gotten some crazy successes, so
maybe are there any records that indicate other contractors these units might be interfacing with?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good job.
Nice.
Yes, so two things. One is that Cirrus agents are providing the private security for senior management here on Crestone. And then Dalvos Fuels has been giving, ooh, that's super interesting. Dalvos Fuels has been giving them very particular specs on the rare earth metals that they need to be putting into these panels. So it seems like there's some energy. It seems like whatever these things are is supposed to harness energy to a massive degree.
That's rarely good news. Evil empires never harness energy to a massive degree for good purposes.
It could be a solar collector.
Yes, to
It
blow
could
up
be.
planets.
It
It
could be.
probably is.
Fair.
Are there, by any chance, smaller subcontractors, like very small subcontractors, like 3-person companies that we could go and wipe out and claim the identities of?
Oh, interesting.
Or even up to like a 10-person company.
I think that they're not going to have information of the size of the records that you guys are looking at. Again, are technical specs, cost of builds, like that kind of thing. So you get information on other companies that they're working with. I would say on a regular basis. Those are the two major hits that you get. If you wanted to delve into all of the little intermediaries that they are working with, you could do that. It's going to be a lot longer of a time to do that.
Okay. I'll leave that up to Chris.
Yeah. And I think that who got the investigation success?
I did
First and
Was
the
that
hard
Chris Hand?
success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chris said looking through this, um, you realize like you guys need to kind of go up in the hierarchy, um, rather than down. And you've got a pretty good strategy for what you've been doing so far.
Hmm.
yeah, it's been working pretty well. I think we've probably got most of what we need from these people here. I don't know what else that we would want to try and acquire that we could reasonably do so, because it seems like the data we need is further up the chain.
I do think we're at a place where we can give Ani a good data dump of what we've got so far, because
sure.
I'm guessing if we're going to get anywhere near getting into an actual military installation, that we'll need more and better gear.
As we were going through here, whether on the way in or when we leave on the way out, are there any other people that are in attire that clearly marks them as being from another country, like, or company? Are there any Dalvos Fuel or Cirrus agents staff on like present where we in the places we go?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
That is exactly a hard success.
Wow. That is very good. You you did spot a what you interpreted. Varlo's pretty perceptive, so at the time you kind of glance over it, but thinking back now, there was clearly someone that you clocked as security goon, walking around the halls with. They were basically like escorting one of the senior executives, or senior administrators in this place. So you assume that was someone working for Cirrus agents. Other than that, you haven't seen anybody in non-Sinilo uniforms. You have noticed that um, there seems to be an association between like how high they are in the hierarchy and how like well kept their uniforms are. Like you definitely spotted some people who are like clearly crawling around the crawlways that you guys were in, that have kind of barely uniforms basically.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Grease stained,
Yep.
grease stained jumpsuits and
Yeah,
the like.
exactly.
Got it.
Cool. Okay, great. So you guys wrap up with Jur, not suspecting a thing, get some pretty good intel, head back to the Tranquility. They open these two massive doors again. You see a cascade of snow fall into the hangar as they do so. Pilot the Tranquility out and head on away with some pretty good intel.
Very nice. Very nice. I think that was a resounding success there.
Yeah.
Good job, team.
take full
Cool. And
credit.
then are you guys gonna go meet up with Ani?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. Do we meet up with her on Coruscant, or is there?
No,
I was gonna
she
say that was another
is.
planet, right?
Yep. And actually, she's gonna give you a different coordinates to meet her.
Makes sense.
So she's gonna want to meet you on Peeldet, which is not a planet any of you are familiar with. It's a system, a couple weeks journey by hyperspace away. It's kind of out of the way, actually. When she gives you the coordinates, Troy, you're talking to Bartleby about it. He's like, "There's not a lot out there, sir. It's quite a remote little planet, I would say."
All right. Varlo, any idea why Ani would want to drag us out to the ass end of the galaxy?
Does Varlo's time in information and intel gathering lend him insight into why one
Yeah.
might want to do such a thing?
Definitely do insight check. Go ahead and roll with advantage because you know Ani.
Sure. We'll see if I can roll a 0 on the tens dice.
1 in 10 chance.
I did not, so it's a hard success. I rolled a
Oh.
15.
Oh,
Nice. Wow. Okay.
That's why I was like, I could roll lower. It's possible, but no.
Yeah.
Yeah, my insight is 54, so yeah,
Cool.
that hits the 27 threshold.
Hard success. Yeah. So you guys were asked to go infiltrate the Imperial capital and get some important intel and then report back to her. She wants to be as far away from the hornet's
We're
nest that you
dangerous.
guys were probably going to kick as possible.
Okay. I feel okay about this.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
We managed to not really kick
Yeah,
too
it's
many
funny
hornets'
that we
nests.
didn't kick anything.
Yeah.
You know,
We just almost got
didn't-
ourselves killed in a hidden way we would never would have been found place.
Yeah, where no
Yeah.
one would have known or found
This
us.
would have
We
been
would
buried
have
forever.
disappeared silently.
Yep. And you blasted that little droid, so it didn't report you. So
It's true. That's true. Yeah, you know,
Cool.
it worked out. It worked out.
Yeah.
They
It'd
did.
be funny if
they,
that little
by the way,
droid
they
got in the ship with us.
they did mention that, like, so Ken, this was mentioned when we landed there. They were talking about, like, oh, we had some delays because there was like a Wampa attack. There were these snake things that keep infiltrating it. There was some shenanigans that went on one of the maintenance shafts. Like, that sounds like I don't know what that was.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, when they mentioned that, I'm like, oh, that's totally us messing around in the maintenance shafts.
But we didn't get to fight the Wampa. I was kind of looking forward to fighting the Wampa.
Not me.
I am fine not fighting the Wampa.
Game's not over yet.
I am A-okay not fighting the Wampa. I would rather keep my arms on my torso.
Nah.
Cool. Okay, so you guys head off to Pildet. End up landing there. It's definitely a little out of the way planet, but not exactly a backwater. It's just not in the main shipping lanes.
What goes on here? What is this place?
Pildet, it looks like it is primarily a desert planet. It looks like there's some kind of mining operations that are going on that are kicking up a ton of dust as you're kind of on approach to the planet.
Bartleby, any idea what they mine here?
You could do investigation.
Sure. Nope. What about the two of you? You heard of this place? What do they do here? I'm just
Never
idly
heard of it.
curious.
Something dusty.
Bartleby says, I don't know exactly what they're mining, sir, but it is going to play havoc with my engine, so I'll have to be careful with powering them as we're flying through the atmosphere.
All right. Do you need a manual assist on that, Bartleby?
Oh, always appreciated, sir. Yes.
Cool. I would love to roll piloting for the first time in my piloting career. Do I want to spend?
You don't really need a success on this.
Okay, good. Because I just flew us through dust clouds.
Yeah. Bartleby says, that's all right, sir. I will be able to get a cleaning, I'm sure, when we land.
I'm sure. Looks like probably this place has lots of water to wash ships.
Yeah. You guys land at the little outpost that Ani directed you to when you came into the atmosphere. And meet up with her, report your findings. And she says, all right, great. If you can hunt down whatever this Ashiv knows, and I will work on, since we know we need to get into a military facility, I'll work on getting you what you need to make that happen.
Do we have any idea
Excellent.
what we need to make that happen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yep. I guess the first thing is that you're hopefully going to get from Ashiv, or his information is where exactly what military facility these plans are kept in. That's probably the main piece of information that you need to acquire, and then ideally some idea of what that security is going to look like. But I think that Varlo, you've probably done enough of these kinds of missions that that there's a certain point that you'll infiltrate things and commit espionage, whatever, and then you kind of pass on the orders to the higher ups, and then they come in with a military bombardment. And that's kind of where your head is going, is like, usually after this next step is where the military bombardment piece comes in. Um, and you have no idea what Ani's capabilities are in that regard.
Gotcha. Yep. Yep. I can read between the lines here of what's about to happen.
Yes, exactly. Cool. Well,
Mhm.
that is the end of that chapter, so we can roll for skills.
Hey,
Hey, glad
Fun.
I got in one last extra skill at the end there. I really wanted to get another chance to improve that read lips.
Yeah.
So I had not rolled read lips that whole endeavor.
Made my accounting.
All right.
Bummer.
So
What are
let's
the
try
odds?
these.
Yeah. Not really necessary with Kristad, but
Is there
Protection of
anything
windows.
special for rolling a 0-0 on your failure? I don't think there is, but I wasn't sure.
I'll double check. I don't think so.
And you don't roll credit
Okay.
rating, right?
Yes. Yeah, I don't think you guys did anything to add or subtract credit rating, so
But like you're not gonna like improve your credit rating there
correct.
with like
Right.
a skill roll at the end.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And then if anybody's working with the instructor, remember that your instructor can roll.
I am happy to do some instructing. I would like to teach these chuckleheads how to sneak a little better if they roll any stealth checks.
That sounds good.
Let
Okay,
me try. I guess I'll roll
so-
my instruct.
Yes.
Accounting, computer, and electronics are a no this chapter.
Nope.
Insight is a yes.
You guys are too difficult to teach.
Investigate is a no.
Athletics
I don't
is
guess.
a
Does that
yes.
give me a roll of instruct that instructs?
It does, yes.
Trade is a yes.
I rolled an 89 on my instruct.
Stealth
So yeah,
is a
you guys aren't learning
yes.
Oh, damn it.
Cyber eyes is a yes.
Hey.
And athletics is a yes. And so all of my good stuff was a no. All of my medium to bad stuff is a yes. And so
As it probably should be. Hey, I
It's
finally get
just
to roll
true.
blasters.
Nice. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's 2 double zeros that I've rolled.
Ha!
I'm glad that I'm doing these for
No kidding.
Yeah, please continue
that
to
skill is
keep these
high
out
enough
of the
that it's
game
just a
sessions.
D4.
Okay.
All right. That's about as
And then
good
this
as-
is probably not relevant for you guys, but remember, if your skill value is higher than the associated characteristic, you only get half the rolled amount.
Oh, okay.
That seems unlikely.
let's see.
Half
Most of them.
rounded up or rounded down
Round it up.
on a D4. Okay.
Dang it. I had a really low skill. Like, let's just see if this is at a 22 and I rolled a 14.
Oh man.
Come on, insight. Insight is useful. No.
Okay, insight is now a 44. That's helpful.
Wow, nice.
Swayed.
Hey, investigate went up substantially. 9.
Persuade is now at 39.
Hey.
That's
You're watching
quite the
you've
improvement.
been watching Troy this whole time.
Yes. I'm like, I can say things and I don't die.
I also rolled that good old 100 on my on one.
Dang.
I was on my first aid roll.
Okay, so Cyber Eyes is now 25.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Well-
I've remembered much more about Monsters of Tim Holland.
Are you kidding me?
I'm very glad
It's up to 23 now, Eric.
Stealth is now 23, so it's no longer.
I'm also
Quite
very
so
glad
bad.
most of these rolls are not in the normal game because I followed up that 100 with a 99.
Oof.
Athletics is a 28, and let's see if I manage to replenish any luck. Nope. Okay, cool. All right, I'm
Man,
going to
this
save that, and
is not going as well for me this time. All right, here's the big ones. Force Bolt. Do I get to improve Force Bolt? I do. By 2 points.
Hey, you know, a point is a
And
point.
Fast Reflexes.
All right, this is going to be really hard to improve, but let's see if I can roll above an
Nice.
80.
6 points on Fast Reflexes.
Nice.
I'm going to go hella fast. My functional dexterity for initiative is 114 now.
Good grief.
Did not increase luck.
I did
All right.
not increase all my low skills. The ones that are like good odds, those are the ones that I'm passing. I'm getting better at the things I'm already good at and no better at the things I'm bad at. Dang it.
all right, Eric, I have sent you the
So close.
updated Kristan sheet.
Thank you.
What happens if you roll exactly your luck on the luck check?
You made it.
Is that a pass? You made it? Okay.
Yeah, so you don't get any luck.
Yeah, so nothing. So no luck improvement. Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right, Ken, so your
remind me-
D&D question.
Right. So freedom of movement spell or ring of free action if you're old school. The effect is applied to you and you jump into the ocean off the side of a ship. What happens?
You're not like restrained or anything. You just like swim.
Okay. That's your take. Anybody else?
Yeah, I think you probably would not have a movement. So swimming normally is counted as difficult terrain, so it would have your movement. I
Yeah.
think I'd probably say you would not have that movement having.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my interpretation.
But none of you would say that you just plummet straight down and take falling damage when you hit the bottom of the ocean.
If you coat yourself in oil of slipperiness, that is exactly what happens to you.
Okay, and I've always viewed free action as being effectively like you coated yourself in oil of slipperiness.
Ah,
So I've always played it as if you jump into water when free action is on, it treats you as if the water is not there.
there's no friction. Yeah.
Right. But looking it up, like there's a lot of dissent on this, and the only official ruling is maybe the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen, which is like an Aquatic Adventures supplement where they talk about this specific situation, and they're like, okay, because water does not impede your movement
Right.
at all when you have free action on, you automatically succeed at all swim checks. And I'm like, if water doesn't impede your movement at all, how are you swimming? Like that, I'm fine with the ruling, but that explanation of the ruling is super dumb.
The way I read it, if I remember correctly, the spell is talking about you're not affected by difficult terrain, not that you
or anything that magically or physically impedes your movement. Like you can't be grappled, you can't be tied up. It's a really weird spell because some of the effects are physical, and some, like, you also can't be paralyzed or held magically.
I mean, if
So I
you
think that
were
maybe my problem is that I've been trying to like parse this as a, hey, what is the actual tangible effect of the spell, as opposed to just being like, well, it's a purely beneficial thing that stops anything from negatively impacting
Yeah.
your movement
I was going to
capability.
say,
Yeah.
like, it basically prevents any of those conditions from being applied to your character.
Okay.
Because wouldn't the take falling damage at the bottom of the ocean, wouldn't it just continue once you hit sand? Because sand impedes your motion as well.
And I mean,
But
you
you
could say the
just
same
slide
thing
through.
about just like the surface of the floor that you're walking on. Like I
Yes.
get it. I get it. Okay.
But I
So
mean, with anything that's not solid, like you're walking through the desert, that's a bunch of tiny little things that are coming together to impede you falling
yeah, no,
through the Earth's core.
you make a solid point. Follow-up question. You have freedom of movement and you fall like off of a bridge, and someone slings a lasso down to catch you on the way down.
Slip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would. I think
Okay.
that'd be hysterical.
Right.
I think that would make sense. You can't be grappled. That the lasso sure
Yeah.
feels like a grapple.
So
I think that
same
I
question.
would say it would depend on how much that character's use of that thing has been bugging me. You know what I mean? Like if it's been overused, okay, great, you suffer. But otherwise, it's like, no, it's freedom of movement, which means that you
Yeah.
are free
Is it
to grab that.
All to your
is are you wanting to be captured by the lasso when your friend throws it? Sure, you can get grabbed by the lasso. Are they trying to, like, against your will, restrain you with a lasso? No, you're just slipping right out of it.
Interesting. But for both of you, Sam and Ben, your initial response was no, the lasso doesn't work. And I get that. What if instead of lasso, you fall and you're like sliding towards the edge of the Sarlacc pit, and somebody reaches out and grabs your arm? I mean, it's a grapple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I would say, like, are you trying to grab hold of their arm and take it, or are you trying to,
Or
go
or
past
it
them?
would be giving you the help action on like a dexterity save or something.
Sure,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
And I'm less thinking about this in 5e terms, and the question
Yeah.
came up in Pathfinder because they were infiltrating a pirate ship, like just right off the edge of a river, and the priest was like, okay, I'm gonna cast freedom of movement on the two thieves as they go onto the ship, and I'm like, all right, be sure not to like jump off the ship because you're gonna drown unless you can breathe underwater when you hit the bottom, or run rapidly to the shore. Okay. I mean, no right or wrong answer. I was just curious what my experienced role-playing friends had to say on that one.
I think it's a really cool question. I think especially with the later questions involving the lasso and like willing, I'd say it might be a charisma check to see if you have the sense of self necessary to think, oh, this is my will to be restrained by this, and that's got to be like a bone deep.
I kind of like that, and that gives some variability to it. The flip to the question was airwalk, which in a lot of ways is like a similar spell in that it changes the medium that you're moving through, and lets you like climb up and down air. How, like, what's the rationale or the function there? Like, why? Because my initial response or my initial thought would be, airwalk is making air solid to you in a certain fashion. Because it's not really like levitating. They're real clear that you are walking on it. So if you have airwalk on and fall a certain distance before activating it, like, what do you take damage? Is it like hitting the ground?
In that sense, I would say, yeah, it's like hitting the ground. If you're
why not?
if you're standing on you're standing on the air, you're suddenly standing on a solid surface. Yeah, you're falling damage against that solid surface.
Interesting. Okay.
The other thought that I would have on the freedom of movement is it is a 4th level spell. I think that for above 3rd level spells, if they're going to expend a spell slot for those things, I am more generous than more restrictive.
Yeah,
because I'm like, you're blowing a pretty high level resource for this action.
I was thinking that, but that kind of presupposes the idea that spells are benefits rather than effects. And I've always kind of viewed them more as effects. Like they do this thing, and that thing may be useful or detrimental to you depending on circumstances. But it's not like there's no guarantee that a fourth level spell is helpful. For example, true seeing to penetrate magical darkness, and there's a Medusa in the magical darkness. You are absolutely locking eyes with the Medusa, and
Yeah.
probably have a penalty to your saving throw because you
Yes.
are perceiving things so completely.
Yep.
But then,
But I do
a
also think, like, from a
corollary.
game balance standpoint, yeah, a fourth level spell slot should be useful and helpful the overwhelming majority of the time.
Well, and also, I think the potential, along with the potential benefit, the potential detriment probably is a fourth level, because I feel like if it were an 8th level spell, yeah, you're going to sink to the bottom of the ocean and you're going to fall through back to freedom of movement. But I don't think 4th level would affect the weave quite so much as to have such an extreme effect on a player character.
Well, it's interesting because once we get up to like 7th or 8th level spells, I'm way more inclined to take Eric's approach of, no, this thing is going to do exactly what you want it to do because that's such a powerful effect. Huh.
Also, it occurred to me in this course of this discussion that Eric's interpretation of the freedom of movement in our games is that you don't fall like a brick through air in water, because Azish's magic item that he had for a long time you were considered to be under the effects of freedom of movement whenever you were in a large body of water, which would have been hilariously detrimental if that meant that anytime you enter a large body of water, you fall like you're falling through air. That would.
I think also some of this is like this harkens back to my days in 1st edition and 2nd edition, where magic items were fundamentally different from spells. Like they did not have spell effects. They did
things.
Weird things. That was actually one of the things that I really didn't like about 3.0 and 3.5 was that literally every magical item was just like a replicated spell effect. It really felt like it took away the interest level of a lot of magic items.
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely.
Yeah, that is kind of disappointing.
All right. Well, I do
Before I
really
forget,
appreciate the insight and thoughts.
Can someone remind me what the rules are on rolling up, what dice I roll to level up the skills in Bothan Spies here? Because I've rolled to see whether I passed or failed, but
it depends on the current level.
Yeah, I was
So
trying to find that document
if
and I
you,
could not locate it.
If in the Google Drive you search just Bothan, it'll pull up Bothan Spies rules, and it's like 70% of the way down the document,
So
somewhere
it's
in that
just here in
second
chat.
page.
I think
And
I'm
so, okay,
probably
cool.
searching the wrong.
Well,
I put it in chat.
Yeah,
There it
it's
is.
in chat
Okay.
now.
Thank you. Cool. Yeah, I was searching in the wrong Google account because I'm signed into like several.
Yeah.
This is a consistent problem for me.
Cool. Well, thanks for the game. Glad you showed up, Ken, and I'll see 2 of you in about a half hour.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Bye.
See you later.